starting to get going? Okay. Good evening. Welcome to the Board of Water and Sewer Commissioners, December 7th, 2016. And we'll open the meeting at approximately 6:30. First item on the agenda is the minutes for October 5th and November 2nd. Now the October, I think we have, okay, that we can vote on.
I'll make a motion that we accept the October 5th minutes as printed.
I have a second.
I didn't send out those.
What's that?
I didn't send out the October ones because they were from last meeting, but I only sent out November when I sent out.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, I printed them.
Yeah, but there's an October, there is an October one in here somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, there is. I'll second.
It's been seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, because we were, the four of us were here. Now, going back to that, that was a peculiar one. Which one was it, October?
That was the October, that's the one we just voted on.
Yeah, okay, that was that November meeting.
Yeah, the November one I wasn't here.
I wasn't here for that either.
And I did get a chance to read through it. And I'll make a motion that we accept it as
Okay.
printed.
I'll second that.
Second, that, Tom can do that. And at that point, Jonathan was done by phone. I was absent, Scott was absent, so those in favor are Tom and Scott, so we'll vote on Tom and Scott as accepting the November meeting.
Well, yeah.
Okay. As read. Okay.
There we go.
Gonna keep moving. We'll move right up to John Petrino's water and sewer report.
Okay, we'll do the water side first. The water department, we installed radio readers for the state 17 Aldea, 34 Chase Ave, 63 Brandon Road, 11 William Street. We went out and pumped pressure reducer pits on Healy Road, Mason, and Route 31. And in turn doing that, we brought in Stonkus Hydraulics. He came in to do some maintenance work on the pits. He found them to be not too bad. One of them on Healy and Dresser Hill could use a little bit of work, but I think we might be able to get away this year with it, but we're going to be monitoring it. He did some pressure adjustments and things, a couple problems he corrected right on site, so that was good. I just today installed the rebuilt chemical feed pump in Station 3, the one we've had on the shelf, the one that was giving us some trouble, and I just got it working. And it seems like it's working okay because it's now meeting the needs of the station. So I thought for a couple $100 to have it rebuilt and modify it even higher than it's originally designed to do. Even if the station goes online higher output, this pump will take care of that problem too. So now we have that online. The one in Station 6 is working good. We have 2 backup pumps on each station. And I've also been in contact with a salesman from who deals in EMIC pumps. So he's going to be supplying me with some EMIC parts for the ones that we originally have that we like so much, the ones that last us about 20 some odd years. So that's good news there. We finished off the meter repair list. We installed the new ball valve for Station 3's chemical feed tank, which is about a 900-gallon tank, holds potassium hydroxide. It feeds the day tank. We actually pumped it out with our little pump we have, and we were able to slide in a brand new valve right on contact with the material we had there. So it worked out pretty good. It was leaking for a while. Now it's all set. So that was pretty good. We turned on water at 26 Tanyard Road, and we began installing integrated meters at Joshua Place. Timmy did that today. Was able to do 8 of them. We're going to now see how those do. Seem like they're all coming in pretty good, but then we're going to have the guy from Tie Sales come in and go with us and have Kristen in to see how these work, how good they operate, and how she can read them properly, and when because they're a little bit different than the other ones, but not too much different. Timmy and myself finished 2 classroom sessions for TCHs for our license renewals, and one of them was on tanks, of all things, and the other one was on customer service, dealing with customer service things. So I don't know how we did it, but I guess we passed it. We also had the guy from salesman that I was talking about earlier, he deals with EMIC parts. He also deals with our chlorine analyzers. We're having an issue with one of them. He came in and for free, he troubleshooted it for me, added a new part to it, and now both of them are working fine, so that didn't add any extra cost there. Sounds pretty good, and I'll be using him for various parts and things. He's like a one-shot deal, which is very good, so I won't have to go fishing around too much. Thanksgiving morning, about 2 o'clock in the morning, we had a pretty bad main break on JB and Shepherd Ave. It's approximately 8 feet down to dig to get to this water main. It's transite, and when we got down there, they had previously dug this back in '82. They put a section in, and when we got down there, we found a whole 4-foot section of transite pipe cracked right to the gate. We were very lucky. We were able to work on the mechanical joint to get into that gate. Usually they're lead poured for transite, but this one was just a straight mechanical joint, and it was the same conformity as to what we use. So we were able to grind and hack it out, and then go back to the bell, which was all deformed also. And of course, the service to the house was tied in on that bell, so we had to redo that too. So we put a section of ductile iron into the gate, and then put the rest blue brute into the section of transite. So that took us approximately 11 hours to do that. From digging down, constant hand digging, just because, yeah.
Wow.
And a lot of the area caving in on you
So you
because
didn't
it's
eat
up.
Thanksgiving, eh?
We managed to get out of there around noontime and salvage whatever we could. Later on, a couple days later, the highway department came and helped us, and we had about a 15 by 20 hole that we paved with them and worked out pretty good. So I think we replaced about a 94-inch section of pipe on that one there. So that's all buttoned up. Then we had another main break this past Friday in front of 22 Patterson Ave. We were able to repair that one in 3 hours' time, and a couple days later we paved that right off. So that's all set and all done. So not too much of an eventful time for the water side. Sewer department. We're doing our continual checks on all problem areas in town before winter comes, like the end of West Main, things like that, the siphons and stuff. Everything seems like it's in pretty good shape. We installed 2 new humidifiers in Luther Lane and Conan Ave stations. We've also done the jetting in the stations and winterized the jetter, so that's all set now. And then we can still use it. It's in our garage, so if we have to use it, we can use it. And the stations are in pretty good shape right now. We also removed and installed and rebuilt a rebuilt sewer pump at Brentwood Drive. We repaired some siding and some lighting at the main sewer plant station. Did some final sewer read at 30 Central Ave. We did have some calls for some sewer backups, which were on the customer side, not on our side. One was at the 88's restaurant. That was a call during the night. 26 Lyons Road was another one, and 22 Jesse Road was another one. Now, we've installed the new sewer pump at Eisenhower Drive.
Just one question, they hit backups into their homes?
No, yeah, it was, their pipes were back up, so when they were flushing, it was backing up into their homes. Not to the point where it was getting any damage, because they called us right away. So we would check the manholes, and we find they're clear. It's they get a sewer, like a
Clog
plumber,
in there.
somebody, yeah, come in and he'll.
Do they have checked, like on one of Jesse, does that have check valve? 'Cause that should be newer, right?
Yeah, and
We got
like,
a,
Those are supposed to, remember those check valves we were talking about, those are supposed to be built with that, so you don't get the
yeah,
crap.
on the
coming back.
new side, yeah. But I guess he wasn't. I guess he was
On the old
pointing
side.
up they were going. So
Alright.
Mike answered that call there. I didn't get it. You know, we were busy doing something else when he did it, but he did check the manhole and he seemed it was okay. And then when they did have their plumber come or whatever they did, he cleaned it out. I guess they were okay. So they were operating okay. We did install the Eisenhower Drive pump. We had M&M come and pump it. The floor came down and they installed the pump. So now there's 2 operating pumps at Eisenhower Drive. I've given the bill for M&M to Stephen LaFleur from LaFleur Electric, who I've been working with, who's been in contact with Mr. Haney, the developer, and Mr. Haney had promised him that he would pay the bills. So Steve held the bill that he was going to issue on a favor for me until I could get the bill from M&M. So it's all submitted to him together. So we're giving him this week to bring everything together, the whole package deal, and pay it all off there. If that does not work, in a reasonable amount of time, I have the bond money ready to go to pay for that, and then we'll go. That'll take care of our side. LaFleur will have to go after him legally on the other side. I think he understands what's going on. I think he would pay the bill. Steve seems pretty assurance that he will do that. So I'm waiting to hear.
Does that solve the problem forever? Like, now that pumping station is the way it should have been the first
That's
place?
a way. Well, it solves the problem with the pumpage. The station is still not right because of the way there's no rail system in there. It's straight pumps hanging with the piping coming down. It's very deep. The actual sewer station is built wrong. It's too low. It's like down in a gully a little bit. So even our crane, I had to take the backhoe and go down there and actually extend the stick all the way down to lower the pump down. It's like 13 feet. It's quite a deep station. So it's not, when it was designed, it wasn't designed properly from the start, as far as being high enough, the rail system, whatever. It is what it is now. So if there was a problem with one of the pumps, I told them to put the new pump online right now and let that start working, give the other one a little bit of a rest. They checked the other one, it seems okay. So now we've got 2 pumps. So if there's a problem, we can switch off to the other pump. So that headache is kind of gone for us right now.
We, I know down the road, it might get accepted by the town, and then we're stuck with it. Can we just send word to the selectmen that there's issue with that so they don't accept it?
I would say, unless there's more contact with the developer on it to get it up to snuff, it would take some doing and some money to get that. I mean, we can at least get a rail system in there and get it to the point where it is probably acceptable to us. I can't say for sure yet till we have somebody go down and take a real good look at what needs to be done. But what I can tell you right now is that the system they have there is not adequate for when we have to remove the pumps for service or anything like that. We don't maintain that station at all. We only go there on a... But if someday
the
they
town
do...
accepts the road,
Yeah.
we automatically get the pump station the way
If-
it is.
I don't know,
I don't
they
know...
accept the road and the pump station. They can accept
The road is
without-
one thing.
Yeah.
I think if down the line, possibly, maybe we can look at the bond
The
money
reason I
to
say,
help with
because
at least
back
some-
years ago, what's that street?
Irons Road, isn't it?
No, it runs from Webster. It was over by the mill. It had those 5 houses on it. It's a street in Dudley, but you only can get to it from
Oh,
Webster.
Peter Street.
Peter Street.
Oh, yeah.
We put the pump in over there,
Yep.
and the town accepted, and we got stuck with the pump station that the town paid for, but we had to maintain it.
Oh, yeah, the town paid for it, but you had to... I don't
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, they've got that money available. If it is some available, that can maybe assist at least getting up to some grade where we can at least maintain some of it to keep it, watch it, put it on our run list.
We seem to have many roads in Dudley that aren't accepted, and that's one of them. I
That's
bet
a
you we
problem.
have 10 roads that aren't accepted. And that road is already, what, 10 to 12 years old?
15 years old, I think, around for that road. And I don't know what happened or right now, I know it's because, I mean, they're all tied in now. What it is, but like I said, we could maybe help ourselves a little bit down the line, at least put a rail system in there, something where we can get access to those pumps fairly safely.
Is there enough money in the bond?
There might be, we'd have to go, I can address that maybe further on when I go to the next thing, but maybe we can have that company that I've been working with to look at that too, and part of our what it would take to do that.
Do we know, and I'm sorry, Bill, to drag this out, do we know how, I think maybe you found the information of how it was accepted in the first place? How it got installed, added online? Remember we were saying how to...
It's not accepted.
Huh?
It wasn't accepted though.
Oh, but it was attached to the sewer system. We found the documentation where it said, yes, you may connect to our sewer system. Because, remember we were having a discussion that the pumping station doesn't meet our specs, and somehow it got tied in, and we just wanted to make sure that we don't repeat that same mistake. Whatever happened, whether, and I don't know all the things, but sometimes the departments in town act differently, and maybe the planning board said okay, so they went ahead and did it. Maybe we said okay, the sewer commissioners, I just don't remember. Or maybe we need as a town to come together with every board and say, please don't let this happen again, whether it's a road, or it's a water thing, or a sewer thing, or all three. Because like you said, there's a lot of, I've seen over the years people complaining, rightly so, that their road isn't up to par. They don't get plowed, they don't have this, they don't have that, because it seems in our process we're not just this department, but we as a town are missing something if our citizens have these issues. So we could learn from it, is my only point.
I think you hit it right there from when I've been talking and learning from different various things. I still haven't pinned it down yet, but I think there was a miscommunication with the planning board, and everyone said, okay, you can start tying in this and that. Sewer department was letting them know that it really wasn't up to par, but was hoping maybe down the line it was going to be, finished off to par when they finished the whole thing off, or somewhere miscommunication happened. And then once you tied in, now you've tied in, so.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can't
it's-
shut them off.
The paperwork I found was there was a checklist, and the planning board checked off things that were okay for them, but things that weren't okay, and then, so each department seemed to do this checklist. And then the sewer department would write, it wasn't acceptable.
But
So
somebody-
I don't know how exactly everybody still paid their tie-in fee and got to tie in, but
Yeah.
you could see all these different notes from what things weren't acceptable and what was.
Well, maybe, I don't have the time to do it. I don't know if somebody does, maybe even one of you guys, or maybe the folks in town, a member from each department or something can get together and come up with a better plan. So it's just a pain in the you-know-what when this happens for everybody involved. And I remember, was it Lions Road that had this issue where it was paved, but it wasn't accepted, the fire trucks wouldn't go up it, there was sewer up there, and it was the other end of town down towards the Aardvark plant and all that stuff. But that went on for years too. I'm like,
They still
how
have
can
that issue on Paul Lane too with the plowing and
Yeah.
the same thing. So
Yeah.
I could definitely go see the town planner and the buildings and just let them know, hey, from now on, anything comes over this, we need to know, and we need to make sure our specs are met. It's very easy to just,
Yeah, like nobody moves into a house until,
yeah,
until those things are met. You know what I mean?
exactly.
And it's too bad, so sad if they can't move in, but.
Well, typically, a lot of those jobs, they just put the subcoat down on the road first, and they wait a year or two, and then it never gets accepted.
Well,
Like, there are many roads that don't have a final paving coat on them.
I live in Tobin, it took them 12 years to put the final top on, and then who's responsible for plowing, who's responsible, and there's a mountain of snow, and you can't see into the main road, there's little kids' bus stop there, I mean, it's a pain in the, a pain, it really is, we should try to avoid that if we can.
I already talked to them in length about it too, so they're aware of what had happened over there. They're still trying to figure it out themselves a little bit, but there's new people there now to go back and figure out what it's.
Yeah, but you learn from that, you learn that's
Yeah, yeah.
it's the only thing the history's gonna do.
So anyway, also for both water and sewer, we'd have a new house online, number 12, 3rd Ave. Both were inspected by both departments, and we'll be installing the final meter probably tomorrow or Friday for that. On the other side, I went out and made contact with Methuen Construction to get quotes for 3 projects, the 3 sewer stations to be revamped. The one was the original Lakeview Ave that you had appropriated $100,000 for back a year or so ago. I wanted to do a bit better with the whole thing, try to get a deal for doing 3, and they've come across with a pretty good deal, I think. The other one was Luther Lane and Lions Road. All these Mike thought would be the best stations to go ahead and do. And I know Luther was on the original plan also with the article. It was mentioned to be along with Lakeview. But as it is right now, Lakeview Ave, price for Lakeview Ave, that's just the pumps, piping, rails, things like that. It's $56,686.42, okay? That was the original price you guys had a quote back a year or so ago. When I originally did this quote, it came in at $60,000 because you guys did not have the pumping agreement in that price for pump outs. So pump outs would be a special money to come in to have M&M or whoever come and pump it out. So I asked the guy to honor that because we still had it, and I put it forth to the commissioners as that, so he did. So he did keep it at 56, that's a $4,000 savings there. Okay, Luther Lane came in at 17, and you guys have your papers on that there. Luther Lane came in at 17,770.69, and Lions Road came in at 19,206.28. That comes to $93,673.39 for all those 3 to be done. With the 10% discount, which is $9,367.33, brings a total to $84,306.06, and that's for 3 revamped stations. However, that does not include the generator and electrical wiring done for Lakeview. That was a separate item on the original bid because it was done by LaFleur, and he's the only one who would do it. So if you add that $31,000 for Lakeview, that brings the total to $115,306.06. That's for 3 revamped stations and a generator and electrical work in Lakeview Ave station. Okay, so you're getting basically about 10% off plus the $4,000. So for $115,306, it's a pretty good deal to have 3 stations done.
Lakeview, is that the one from phase 1 or 2? Which you said 20 years ago?
It's the old one.
That's the
original
old
one.
station.
Down
We
by the
actually,
beach house.
Down at the beach, that's where we pumped into.
Pumped
Yeah.
That's
pumped down there.
so it's older than 1995.
1960s.
Oh, okay.
Ronnie Antos.
I feel better now. Well,
Ronnie Antos came in and he did the tree work over there a couple weeks back, so it's all set to go whenever it's ready. When I'm talking to Jason Babbage over at Methuen, they would like to do this sometime with ordering parts and what have you. They would like an agreement made. It's a 30-day, you get 30 days on this. you'd like it signed, it would be probably sometime in March, or February, March, summer timeframe, that, to get everything rolling, to get the things done. We can even extend it out a little bit more if we want to, if there's an issue about as far as where to get funds or to go to the town meeting to acquire any additional funds to finish this off. Because this quote is only gonna be good for 30 days, and then it could change. I noticed that when he did the quote for the other one, he had missed something there, and like I said, I want to keep this quote the way it is, because we're now getting we're getting the pumpage done also with this. So, and they all 3 stations come with the pump job and the revamp together. So, and there's a few ways you can do this if you have to. I did talk to Dept Thibodeau a little bit about this, and we can take it out of some income, some earned monies, and then have it re-put back in the town meeting. But the way it's looking now, if Luther and Lakeview together were put in as that article, you could also take some of that savings and apply it to Luther, because it's only going to be 87 something for the Lakeview station. So you have a little bit more money there too, or you can put it back in your accounts or whatever you want to do. So there's a little bit of room play. But I just need kind of a word of what to do, so I can.
What account would you pay it out of?
Well, right now, we're looking at the accounts that we had.
Look at your articles. First, look at your sewer articles.
Sewer over here.
The sewer borrowing articles, you'll see the 100,000, you'll see the 55,000. But the 55 is the generators.
Also, the 100 of the 55 are for this specifically? They correlate to this?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Different than the Mill Street, obviously. which is
And
the
and
water
how
side.
much, is there free cash on here? Retained earnings,
Retained
whatever they call it?
Retained.
We had that a while back, it was in around
$490,000.
$400,000.
Yeah, it was somewhere around 400, I think it was.
So I think
Talking,
the question there becomes, do you want to borrow, or do you want to use what the sewer users have paid in over time, or split it 50-50 or something?
you have a couple options open to you at that time. You can actually, by the time this project is, you're only talking a couple of months, so you do have the luxury of the town meeting if you want to take it out of retain, add a little bit. I like to have a little bit of a cushion, because, you know, things happen, like the floor could have a problem, you have to re-cement the floor. If there's anything that they haven't, you know, there are some stipulations, like, you know, pump station floor repair replacement, that's added. If there's a problem that they can't avoid, that may be added. So it's always good to have a little cushion, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, whatever, just so you have it.
At town meeting, didn't we request this to come out of retained earnings?
Yeah, but you requested,
100,000.
100,000 is coming out of
Okay,
retained
yeah.
earnings.
All right.
It's already
Then,
out.
we're thinking, even if we had to hold off a little bit on the generator, or
Yes.
even if we had money left over in our budget, we could take it out of capital.
I would-
Capital expense out of
I
our
would
budget
definitely-
to pay the bill.
Yeah.
And this job, time-wise, is gonna take us just about into
yes.
May, June, or July, where you're at the end of your budget, and you're gonna see,
Yep.
well, do I have capital money to spend, or in the spring town meeting?
Yeah,
Do we go to the spring town meeting and ask to take a few dollars out of?
Depending
Yeah.
on the
Alright.
timeframe when they're gonna do it, he's giving me times from late January, February, and he's not sure whenever the pumps and materials can get there. But definitely, I would hold the generator back, because that can be done at a later time.
At a later
And
date.
at least you get everything fully piped and plumbed, new pumps, and that's your primary thing. Generator, we can always work around. We have our mobile generators
Now,
anyway.
do we have on here, this is, I like this sheet, but do we have our income, our revenue?
Oh, sorry, I only did the expenses. I mean, I could have printed it.
All right.
Yeah.
The other thing, to make sure, yeah, we got out with a budget of 1.2 million, but have we brought in the money we expected this year? Because that's another,
Right.
that could be an issue too.
Well, actually, Deb and the DOR won't allow us to print this budget without equal revenue to offset it. We can't make up a fake,
Yeah.
we can't make up
No,
a
but
But
fictitious
actual revenue,
budget.
you're
Yeah, I know.
projecting, yes,
Yeah,
we'll have the
projection,
revenue,
but
but,
in other words, our projection should take us into that 1 million.
Yeah, last year,
$2, you know.
Yeah.
we
but
obviously need more.
by this point, we projected we'd have 50% of our revenue, but we only have 40%. We haven't, you know.
Just a side note real quick, he did not have in here about the check valves, but the check valves are fairly cheap in the stations, and I'm gonna have those replaced along with everything, make sure they're
Right.
done. In case it was just missed by them, we were checking on it, and Timmy had mentioned it to me, and I says, geez, I thought, because I wasn't there when the guy had went through with the stations, but we are gonna make sure, they're fairly cheap, I wanna make sure everything gets done properly and replaced.
Whoever rate check valve?
I have it listed down for check valves for those plastic check valves.
Yeah, that's
That's a good price.
Where?
Is there in the quote?
If you were bidding this, it would be a lot more.
It would?
Yeah, if you were to bid this.
We actually requested
Okay,
a
I
couple
didn't
other
see that.
bids and they want the chargers to come out
All right,
and look at the job.
To get quotes, did
Yeah.
you get,
I don't wanna
did they give
mention-
you zero?
I
like
I
they
didn't
said?
want to mention any names, but when Judge started making phone calls, they wanted upwards and over $1,000. just to-
Right,
Yeah.
I mean, if this were prevailing wage, it'd be a lot higher if you were to, design
Yeah.
and build. So-
I'm very happy with these guys. I find them to be very receptive, and to take additional monies off like that, just to honor an agreement from a year ago, I found that to really,
No,
go over the
I've
edge. So
done several projects with them at the time, and
They work.
fairly fair.
so I'm just asking the board now for their approval today, so I can sign off on this and at least get things rolling on this. And
does this meet
Done, it's done.
Yeah, it's an upgrade.
Purchasing.
Worried about.
Rules for the, it's only one quote?
Right.
Does this kind of thing have to go out to bid, or does it not?
I don't think,
You asked for another quote.
Well, you asked for quotes.
I asked for another
You asked for quotes, they
$1,000, it
refused
was
to come out.
$1,000 more just for the quote.
Just to come out?
And that's not feasible to do that.
Yeah.
So at that point, they're even,
Who's our procurement officer?
Debbie.
Procurement is, Mr.
We,
Melchior.
we can approve it contingent upon their approval of the
Yeah.
process.
Yeah.
That was something brought up.
I'll make a motion to accept the Methuen construction quote to repair the Lakeview, Lyons Road, and Luther Lane stations.
Second that quote.
We have a second by Tom. All those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Just, you want to just add contingent
Oh,
on?
contingent.
Contingent
yeah,
about,
Contingent on,
Approval through procurement officer and even through the town administrator.
Yeah.
So we're,
So we don't want to piss anybody
so we
off.
don't have someone breathing
Yeah.
down our back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's a lot of good work there, Judge. I appreciate it.
Yeah, good job.
I mean, it's a good improvement for the town. That Lakeview Ave station we're talking about, remember, that takes Lawrence, pump to the new one,
Yeah.
and it takes all the side streets
All the way up to
off of
Sawmill.
Mason Road. Yeah, it takes a good
lot
portion
of
of the
crap.
town.
Sawmill.
Well, it's also old and it's caused us a lot
And then
of
it
troubles as far
Pumps
as
it up and out,
maintenance.
so
and-
it'll be a good job.
Even
Good
now.
job for the town.
And that, I know that you're doing this, but the pumps are all consistent with all the other pumps we're using, so.
Yeah, the only problem he had was the old serial numbers or any identification on those pumps were, as you saw in the quotes, were just gone. So we're going with all new setup, completely conformity. And like I said, I gave Mike a copy of that just to make sure. So he has all the new specs on those Myers and the other barns. So he knows what's going in there and stuff. So everything's gonna be pretty much the same. And that's all I have.
Okay, George, thank you. That's a good report.
Thanks, George.
Staffing plan for the next 3 months. We're kind of going to hold off on that till we actually find out where we're headed, right? I mean, we don't know where we're headed. We have a man out injured, and we have a man out on a workman's comp claim, and we cannot talk about the workman's comp claim. The man that's out, our superintendent that's injured, he's virtually has to be in touch with our agent, with the, town treasurer, to collect the insurance wise to see when he's able
Yeah.
to come back to work. So,
Can't talk to anybody.
can't talk. So we're just gonna pray that George stays on the job and
Yeah.
he keeps watching
what's left
the
of me.
troops. You're doing a great job so far.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. We'll say it in public, we appreciate it. Good job you're
Yes.
doing.
Don't
And,
over
Well,
Bob.
guys have done a great job
The
helping
guy-
me and everything. Kristen brought us donuts and coffee at the main break, which was great.
Oh my God.
Best friend for.
You didn't have her in the hole?
I almost had to come get her. We almost gave him an extra hand shoveling, but
He's out
she
of
put us
shovel,
all to
right?
shame, so I didn't want to do that. But the guys have really helped out tremendously. They've all been great, and they've done their best to go all the extra mile because, like I said, we are shorthanded so badly.
Short-handed.
And I did appropriate a guy from the highway department at that JB at main break. Of all the things, one of the pipes slipped off the backhoe and took a line out. So my stabilizer got disabled, so I had to end up having him with his backhoe come up and pull mine up. And then I could at least use my front, but we actually finished off, we recorded the ends of it. He was a great help too, and they helped us there. So, and it cut a lot of time off. It would have been even there longer. So, because we could at least load down and come back and forth and stuff, so it worked out.
Thank God for the help from the highway department.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Okay.
Okay, we'll move to item 5, executive session. Convene into executive session under Mass General Laws, Chapter 30, A and 21A3. Now, I will also move on to that, to procedures for convening an executive session, which have to be read in public. The meeting must be convened in an open posted session with executive session listed on the agenda when reasonably anticipated by the chair, which has been done. The chair states the purpose for the executive session, stating all subjects that may be revealed without compromising the purpose of the executive session. A majority must vote in a recorded roll call to go into executive session. The chair announces whether the meeting will reconvene in open session. Accurate minutes and other records of the executive session must be maintained and all votes recorded by roll call. So at this point, I say we can go into executive session, which means, Fred?
I'll make, yeah.
You
we
make
have
a
to
motion in each one of these.
Yeah, okay.
Make a motion to enter executive session.
Yeah.
I'll second it.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Scott,
Yeah, name?
we have to do it by
name, okay.
roll call. Scott Sikowski, aye.
Jay Spall, aye.
Tom Ponya, aye.
Scott Pekarchik, aye.
And we won't be convening.
We
Yes,
won't
we
be,
are.
We won't be reconvening into open session.
we won't be reconvening into open session.
We won't? We're not gonna talk about, whoops,
That's what we're gonna do now.
Oh, okay.
with,
okay,
with Paul.
okay.
We're